let's talk about the snowstorm back then with Edge, Christian, and I guess Rhino, yeah?
Yeah. It's Christian, Rhino, a guy named Zach Wild, and Johnny Swinger was there too.
Mm-hmm.
El Fuego. We had a whole team of guys. We used to go up and do the Northern Tours, also known as the Hell Tours. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of those now, especially because Jericho used to do them, Lance Storm used to do them, and there's a lot of names. I know that we got out there, crowded in the van. One night, the power went out in one of the buildings we were in when we were sleeping in at 70 below zero. So I thought we were all just going to die.
Okay.
So I just grabbed all my stuff, marched it into the boiler room, and I thought this is going to be the last room to get cold. Because we were 24 hours drive from the nearest big city. Ooh. And just luckily, one of the guys who lives up there was able to get the power going. So it was kind of rough conditions. We used to drive over these frozen lakes. And as you drive, you can actually hear the ice cracking under you sometimes. And depending on how late in the season it's usually February. But if you're there late in February, sometimes as you're driving along, you'll see like 18-wheeler tractor trailers with just the cab sticking out of the ice. It's gone completely through the ice.
Who was the driver back then?
Well, I usually was the wheelman because I'm the only guy on the team who didn't drink.
Okay.
So they tend to give me the keys. But yeah, we'd pass by 18-wheelers and stuff, and you'd hear all kinds of horror stories, that you'd drive like 24, 25 hours up to Oxford House. Mm-hmm. And on these reservations, if one person on the reservation dies, they close the whole reservation for a day in honor of the memory of the person. So we drive like 24, 25 hours there. And then when you get to the reservation, they just say, you got to go home. Or, a kid died. A kid went out on the ice and huffed gas till his heart exploded. Yeah. Remember that one? Yeah. So, yeah, we just kind of have to beg, please let us just stay here. We can't do another 24 hours straight, But we did this one. We were finishing up this tour. And old-time wrestler named Bulldog Bob Brown was a big deal in Western Canada. Mm-hmm. Down in Kansas City and San Francisco and stuff like that years and years ago. He was one of the staples of Tony Condello's promotion, and he'd retired, and his younger brothers were the ring crew. So the one of them would drive the ring band, the other one would be taking the money at the gate and stuff like that. And we got this message. Tony, I guess, was like kind of before cell phones. So Tony had called Winnipeg and found out that Bulldog had passed on. So Tony went out of his way, found a little airport at one of these reservations, and flew Bob's sons, or the younger brothers, I should say, out to Winnipeg to go and try and get funeral arrangements done. And so he said to us, listen, guys, just your choice. We can just cut the tour short now and just go home. We've only got one more gig. It is on the way. Mm-hmm. But, you can just pack it in if you want. But if you want to do it, you guys have to do ring crew stuff. And one of the guys on the team, a guy named Brian Jewell, real nice guy, local, he said he really wanted to do a match in tribute to mm-hmm. Bob. Mm-hmm. So we're like, all right, then let's do the match. So we did the ring crew thing. And the entire audience was essentially 14, 15-year-old girls.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. But I don't know why it was all girls. Like, it just seemed strange to me. But I don't know. I didn't know they had like a girls' school out there. It was majority young girls. And they treated us like I don't know if you ever seen the old videos of when the Beatles showed up for the first time.
Yeah.
Because they got nothing else going on, right? So they go absolutely berserk for us. And we did the show, and they were just screaming like crazy through the whole thing. End of the show, we start trying to pack up because it's already like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we've got, I don't know, 6-7 hour drive back to Winnipeg. So we start tearing down this ring, and we can't get away from these girls. Like, the teachers aren't making them leave, the parents aren't making them leave, doesn't matter. And as you're trying to carry these beams out, like, young girls run up and just try to kiss you on the mouth. And you're like, listen, kid, like, please. And you turn your head away from her, and a girl from the other side comes up and gets you. You're like, hey, you ladies, come on. Like, and they're grabbing at you in all, the places they shouldn't be grabbing. I'm sitting there going, like, even if I was inclined to be doing something like this, like, there's no reason why anybody in this tribe, if they were to see us doing something like that, we're in the middle of nowhere. They'd never find the bodies. They'd just kill us, right? So I'm like, guys, be cautious. These girls are, they're being extra nutty today. Be cautious. So everybody acted like gentlemen. Even if they weren't, they acted it. So we finally got the ring packed up, and we zip off. So they got me driving the ring van, and they got Tony's driving the passenger van with a bunch of the guys. So we drive along for a good stretch, and then we get to this portion of the frozen lake is about 100 yards, about the size of a football field, between two lots of land. And to the left side of us, it's all crushed up and a lot of ice sticking up, like it was smashed. And the other side's quite smooth. So we pull up, and I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, on one hand, I would go to the smooth side. But at the same time, if this one's been smashed before, maybe it's been, crushed out enough to drive on because somebody's driven there, and I don't see a broken down car. So Brian Jewell says, let me drive. I've done this a million times. I'm like, yeah, I don't want this responsibility. So he jumps behind the wheel, and he guns the gas, and he gets about 15 yards, and the front end of the car goes through the ice.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh no! Right? So we're all like, oh my god! Like all our wrestling gear's in there, the rings in there. But it's like, oh, this sucks. So Tony comes over, losing his mind, swearing in English and Italian at us. What are you doing, you stupid bastard? And it was like, I wasn't driving, Tony. I don't know what to tell you. Like, Jewel's more experienced than me. I let him do it. So Jewel cursed Tony out. They cursed each other out for a while. I was like, let's just get this car out. So Keith and I get to Tony. Get the thing moving a little bit, and we get it moved about 5-6 feet, and then the ice breaks and it goes through the front end again. It's like, oh my god, this is terrible. And then I'm like, wait a second, we've got a whole van full of wrestlers over there. Why are Keith and I the only two pushing this stupid thing? So we yell over, to Adam, Jay, everybody, get over, or Edge Christian, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you guys get over here and help us get this stupid van out? Your gear's in here too, right? So, and plus we got Rhino there, who's a monster. Like, he probably pushed the thing with one hand. So they all come out, and Tony'd already driven the passenger van across safely to the other side. So they're walking across the ice towards us, and boom, Christian goes through the ice with one leg up to his hip. Oh. So that's his thing. He's like, screw this, gets up, turns around, goes right back to the passenger. Edge goes, looks at Christian, looks at us. He turns around and goes to back to the van. He takes off. So now just Rhino's the only one helping us out. But thank goodness it's Rhino because he's so strong. So we get 1, 2, 3. We push. We get the van out of the ice. And then Tony just guns it the other way, takes it all the way across the ice, safe. So the truck makes it safe. So I'm like, Rhino starts freaking out because as Tony's driving, the ice starts cracking. He's like, oh shit! And he turns around and he freaks out, runs the wrong way. I'm like, what are you doing, Terry? Get over here. He's like, I'm drowning. This is bullshit. Like, calm down. So I start laughing. And Keith and I, late. So we're already delirious, being tired of this. So we're laughing like crazy. Like, this is insane. Who else lives a life like this? So I'm like, come on, buddy, let's go. So I go over and I kind of take Rhino by the arm. Come on, let's walk across the ice together. Yeah. And to this day, I don't remember what I was going to say. But I said to him, hey, listen, pal, you know what's really, really, really funny? And before I could, say it, he looks at me dead serious. He goes, the fact that I'm going to piss myself because I'm so scared. Actually, yeah, that is pretty funny. I started laughing. And that was so funny, it made me forget what the funny thing I thought was. Yeah. So we get to the other side, get back in the things. We drive back to Winnipeg. We get to the Continental Hotel with the IWA hallway. They used to room Rhino and I together because we both snore like trains. So nobody wants to endure it. They put us together. Yeah. And the lady at the front desk was the sweetest, nicest lady you could ever meet. Probably in her 40s. And just so nice. And like, if I wanted to go, like if we had a couple days in Winnipeg before we went on the next leg of the tour, I'd be like, oh, where's the nearest grocery store? And she'd be like, oh, 4 miles down that way. Here, take my car. She'd give me her keys.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the sweetest thing you ever met. So I wanted, and I kind of half got talked out of it and half got encouraged. But either way, I decided not to do it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to get her to give me the keys to the to the maintenance room and get like a big electrical cord, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then when Rhino was asleep, I wanted to go in the room and I just wanted to loosely tie him to his bed. And then I wanted to get a big bucket of ice water.
Oh.
And then hurl it on him and go, oh my God, we're going through. And Marvel. But no good could come of that because he's either going to have a heart attack and die or he's going to break come kill me. So
yeah.
The one worked out. So that's the one great rib I wanted to do that I never did because that would have been like, it would have been hysterical for the 30 seconds I lived after it. It was a pretty crazy night for us.